It's now time for Remember When with Uncle John. John Guess, Ouachita County's resident storyteller and local historian. Sit back now and enjoy a walk down memory lane as John recalls the days of yesteryear in his own unique way. You never know, some of it might even be true. So here's Uncle John, along with his trusty sidekick, Kelly Blair.
Back on Remember When with Uncle John. Well, here we are at the start of a brand new week. Got a grade Monday on a curve, but it's all right. We're going to make it. We're going to make it through together. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that we do together is celebrate the Remember When with Uncle John show with some of our great sponsors, including Sherwin-Williams House Paint, 315 Jefferson Street here in Camden, 836-8125. They can point you in the right direction for most of your home improvement needs.
And we got ProMed Ambulance. Give them fine folks a call at 1-800-634-0436. They're serving Randolph, Lawrence, Ashley, Union, Dallas, and Calhoun County. Give them a call and get signed up on their Priority Membership Ambulance Care Program.
Also, we got the Prescott Raceway right over there in Nevada County, 5121 Highway 53 East. PrescottRaceway.net is where you can go to find out all the big races going on. Follow them on Facebook or give them a shout at 904-5952. Or you could just stop by the Napa store down there in Magnolia like my buddy John did the other day. Talk to Jackie Lewis himself. He'll point you in the right direction.
That's right. I stopped and talked to old buddy Jackie, man. He seemed like he was fairly well pleased with our Uncle John show.
With all the hundreds of thousands of Remember When with Uncle John fans coming to the racetrack every week.
And we got our good buddy J.J. Lindsay down at the Shopper's Guide. Give him a call for all your stationery needs.
Don't forget, folks, you can catch our podcast a little bit later on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, anywhere else they do podcast. All you got to do is put in Remember When with Uncle John to make sure you got the right one. You can also find it on our Facebook page and YouTube as well. So tell all your friends and family they can. They don't even have to get up early like you to hear us live here on the radio. They can listen to us later.
Absolutely.
All right, John. Well, here we are on a Monday, August 29th. August is fading on us quick. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, with all the respect in the world to my dear friend Gary Stifler, who is the world's greatest Beatles fan.
Oh yeah.
A couple of big events happened in the life of the Beatles on August the 29th.
Okay.
August 29th, 1958, George Harrison became an official member of the Quarrymen.
There you go.
Who later became the Beatles.
And really, the Beatles, let's face it, was John, Paul, and George, and Ringo kind of came along later.
Ringo came along in 1962.
There you go.
Pete Best was their original drummer.
Yep.
And John Lennon didn't like him. He had a rift with him. So Pete was out, Ringo was in.
There you go.
And then on August the 29th, 1966, they gave their last public concert at Candlestick Park to a crowd of 25,000 people with about 7,000 unsold seats.
Whoa.
So, you know,
well,
they wasn't Elvis. Elvis never played to an empty seat in his whole career.
More than likely true, absolutely, especially once, the career hit, once Elvis became Elvis.
But I understand the importance of the Beatles, and I know that they were, of course, John Lennon said it best, before Elvis there was nothing. And then the Beatles came along. Elvis and the Beatles are considered the two premier events in music in the 20th century.
Absolutely.
I appreciate what they done. The some of their songs, the playing them backwards and all that kind of stuff and all that, But I mean, I was never a big Beatles fan. There wasn't a Stevie Ray Vaughan in the whole bunch, as far as I'm concerned.
I would agree with that.
There wasn't one member of the Allman Brothers or Leonard Skinner that played in that band, But I appreciate what they did, their contribution to music, how everything came along and kind of bounced off of them, the Rolling Stones and the Who and those Led Zeppelin and all those.
Oh yeah, they spawned, or they
the British invasion
inspired an entire generation of bands and musicians to come along behind them.
But like I said, with all due respect and great deference to my good friend Gary Stifler, I'm not a big Beatles fan, but August the 29th was a big day in the beginning of their band and the end of their band.
That's okay, because believe it or not, and a lot of folks are surprised when they find this out, I'm a big enough Beatles fan for the both of us. So I got you covered.
You know, I remember thinking the night that John Lennon was killed, two things. It was a terrible thing that the man lost his life to some wacko, and we would never have to hear again, well, I wonder if the Beatles are going to get back together.
Well, yeah, that is true, too. But then they still did it a little bit later on with audio tapes and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, the thing about the Beatles, I mean, I think John Lennon and Paul McCartney, two of the greatest songwriters of all time. And, of course, the early stuff was very much bebop or whatever, you know, sugar pop or whatever you want to call it. But the influence that they had, not only in those British guys, but they did things musically, changing chords and mixing stuff up and all that. People had just never even heard of, never even thought about. They opened up all kinds of doors.
Absolutely.
All right, that's going to wrap up Remember When with Uncle John here for today, but we're just getting started. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, ready to do it all over again. We'll see you then, John.
See you tomorrow, mate.
You've been listening to Remember When with Uncle John on Y95. This broadcast can be heard each weekday morning at 6:45 on South Arkansas's favorite station, Y95.